gaslighting you? Let me break it down, okay? If you've ever felt confused or doubted your memory after a conversation with your boss, that might be gaslighting. But I want to give you the definition of it. It's a form of psychological manipulation where someone distorts reality to make you question yourself. So this evening, Monday evening, we're going to dive into how to spot the signs and protect yourself. Okay? So this is what it looks like. I want you to answer this question for yourself. Does your boss frequently change their version of events, making it hard to keep track of what's true? Now, it's not like they kind of forgot some bits. They literally changed what really happened. And get this, some of what they said might have been true. So that's the sneaky bit, okay? It's almost nuanced. Well, not almost. It's nuanced with true, but it's also with the untruth, but they spin it in such a way that honestly, you don't even know. You start to doubt yourself, and they're so fast and probably very witty, and they may even have an attitude when they start to talk about, their version of things. So for example, they might promise something to you in private, but then they deny it when they're in front of other people. So that is another form of gaslighting that you will notice, right? When you walk away feeling, uncertain about what just happened, you got to question that. Another thing that they do when they're gaslighting you is they minimize your feelings or concerns. They will dismiss your worries with things like you're just overreacting or you're too sensitive. And this makes you doubt the validity of your own emotions and trust and believe they're doing that on purpose because they got to keep you doing whatever it is that they want you to do. There's never just, they're not just doing it to be doing it. Some can be super dark, that might be a tactic, but usually it's to keep you doing something that they need you to keep doing. Working extra hours, showing up on Saturdays to get stuff done, staying later than everyone else, doing that report over, making those changes on the report. Why? Because behind closed doors, they take that, they go to the higher ups and they deliver your project, the things that you wrote down, and pretend it's theirs. Okay. So they need you to keep doing what they need you to keep doing. And their point is to make you doubt your own emotions. Another thing to look out for when you're being gaslit is that they blame you for their mistakes. Okay. I have a client and she's going through that with a narcissistic woman. And she will go into a meeting, something will, go wrong or whatever. And then she'll come back to my client and blame her. You gave me the wrong information. You told me to do something different. Blah, 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 blah. When that is not the truth. See, this is it. And then it's my client, so much on her plate. She's got way too much on her plate in the first place. She starts to kind of think, oh my God, what do I do? Is that really, did I do that? And then she started to see a pattern here emerging, and she was like, nah. And she pushed back, and that has made it even more difficult for her. So they shift blame onto you, even when it's clear they are at fault. And this creates a toxic cycle where you're always second guessing yourself. Always second guessing yourself. Another thing to look out for, they rewrite history. Do they claim something didn't happen the way you remember? Or insist they never said something? They're rewriting history when they do that. And get this erodes trust in your memory and perception. Another thing you've got to be aware of is they will start to isolate you. Now, if you've been on my channel before, I am KK Harris, and get this, I almost married a narcissist. There's a video I did this weekend where I showed my wedding gown, which is actually sitting over the floor over there. Let me see if I can turn my computer around. I can. You guys, I just moved here from London about 3.5 months ago. Where is that? Oh God. Over there in that white dress. Now it's in that white container, thing. So he put a ring on my finger. He love bombed me. And I noticed he isolated me. I wondered why we weren't going places. I said, hey, what are we doing this weekend? I thought, oh, it's love. We're going to hang out every freaking weekend, until the point I just got tired. I'm like, what's going on? And I was looking at what's going on in Dallas. And I was like, this is amazing. And then he got pissed off that I wanted to do that. He got pissed off that I wanted to be out. And it was like a devil. It was honestly, he was not one of those verbal people, but, and make you verbally feel bad until later. But he made sure to isolate me from the world. And then when I went to spend the night at my sister's, he got very annoyed. When he came to pick me up the next day, he was so dark that the dog growled at him when he got there. Now Heaven had already met him and had a good time with him the first time that we had gone to my sister's. But there was a dark energy that had come through, and the dog was picking it up, and that evening when he was taking me on home, it was one of the worst nights. He was just mean. He was, and act like it wasn't happening. He didn't know what I was talking about. These narcissists, they will discourage you from talking to others or create rifts between you and your colleagues. And when I look back, I saw how he was trying to create a rift between me and my sister. They're so good. They're so crafty. And isolation is a classic gaslighting tactic to control the narrative. Understand that. Understand that. These are all how you can tell if you're being gaslit. And if you are being gaslit, man, tell me down in the chat. Let me know about it. Tell us your story. So, but what can you do? What can you do to protect yourself? Well, I'm going to give you some actionable tips to do so. One of the first things you want to do is start to document everything. Document those conversations. Write it down. Keep it in a file so you remember. When you email that narcissistic boss, be very, very clear on expectations that that was shared in that conversation or what have you. You got to write it down because you might need it if you have to go to HR. And then that's the only way you'll be able to stand your ground, because don't forget, they will have more than just you in their corner. They're very charismatic. That's what makes you so confused and others confused, especially if they've never experienced that narcissist the way you've experienced them. Okay. Another tip I want you to think about is you've got to trust your instinct. When I was dating, when I was with that narcissist, my gut was telling me one thing, my heart was pulling me in another direction. In the work context, your gut is going to tell you something, but your head is going to tell you something else, because you're going to be thinking, but he praised me in front of other people. He made me feel. It's the same thing. Gaslighting. I'm not gaslighting, but love bombing in a relationship with a narcissist. You get the same thing. They're love bombing you, but without the love interest. They're love bombing you to take advantage of you, to make sure that they can lock you down, trap you. Right? But you've got to trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, you can't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Another thing you can do is seek outside perspectives. And that's with other colleagues, maybe a mentor. You want to get a reality check, because sometimes they got you all up in your head that you're not knowing what you're really experiencing. So when you start to share that out, then it's like, okay, that helps confirm what's happening. And that could be hard. That could be really, really hard, because you'd be probably thinking, how did I fall for this? So, but those of us who have fallen for it, we understand. We do understand. Okay. Now, one of the ways you're going to be able to start to shift things is you're going to have to try to set boundaries. I put a little video on the channel talking about that. If they try to manipulate you, you're going to have to stay firm. When you respond, you must respond with the facts and not with emotions. If you respond with emotions, that's when they start gaslighting you, making you believe something that isn't true, or trying to convince you that what you saw, what you heard, is not the reality of it. So here comes the cycle again, right? So you have to be firm in your response to them. You have to stick with the facts, and like I said, and not your emotions. But unfortunately, sometimes you have to make a big decision, which is, do I stay in this organization, or do I stay working for this guy or not? Now, leaving the organization might not be the move, right? If you work with a big enough organization, the good thing is there will be opportunities within the business, right? And hopefully, if there's an opening, or you might know about it, or know about an opportunity, or somebody knows about an opportunity that you can go ahead and apply to. But look, if you go back to what I said just a moment ago around the boundaries, then if you learn to control your own emotions, because I'm going to tell you something, when you start to recognize and realize that this person is gaslighting you and making you feel, really crap, it's going to cause some emotions within inside of you. And that's when you're going to have to say, hold on, at least I know what's going on, right? When you know what's going on, you can make a choice. Do I respond with emotion, or do I use what I know to outsmart this fool? Understand? You can outsmart a narcissist, but that's another video for another day. Going back to the fact that you might have to leave this job, I just want you to do it strategically. Okay? I want you to do it strategically. If you're going to leave, you got to get your LinkedIn looking good, get your resume updated. You got to start job hunting if you're going to do it. You're going to have to take a break to go on a virtual interview. So you have to start to get your head in gear, because if you don't, it could be a disaster, right? You got to outsmart. You've got to be smarter than them, But like I said, if it's consistent and it just carries on and on and on, you got to ask yourself the question, can I hang, or is it time to go? I just want to say this, if you ever been gaslighted at work before, do tell us about it. Tell me about it. If you tell us how you handled it, that's going to be really useful to somebody else. And that's what I'm trying to build, this community where we're looking out for each other. I posted that video on my channel, a short, the other day, asking if I should basically destroy my beautiful wedding gown. He never saw my wedding gown, thankfully, And somebody said in the chat, they said something that really moved me, and it was basically saying, no, don't close off your heart. And tearing up that gown, cutting it up or what have you, would be giving up on love. And I really appreciated that person for saying that, because I calmed down and I recognized that healing after being with a narcissist takes time. It takes time in a romantic, once you've left a romantic relationship. It takes time once you've left a work narcissist. You will have to take time, and you have to heal yourself and seek support, seek help from a therapist. I did that when I was still in London. June, July, I saw someone very, very helpful. But it is so important for you to get through this, heal, work through it, get your confidence back, build up those boundaries, So if this has resonated with you, please, watch my video on confidence and dealing with toxic bosses. And, don't forget to subscribe, for more strategies to outsmart a narcissistic workplace. My name is KK Harris. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here during the recording, after the recording. I just appreciate it. I'll be coming here on Monday evenings around 9 o'clock Central Time here in the United States, or you can catch me a little bit earlier on Thursday nights at around 7 o'clock Central Time, and I will see you there. Thank you so much.